Welcome to the video. Yeah. A lot of people have been bugging the shit out of me to make this video. And I have my list ready, so Griffin, shut up. You're the worst, you suck, T.I. shot your cousin. Peace. Let's start it off with numero 10. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Now, Paranorman is one of the best animated films I've seen in a while. It's the best theatrical released animated film to be out since Toy Story 3. It's a really clever satire on, 80s horror movies, or just horror movies in general. It's hilarious, it's heartwarming, it's a really great family film, it's creepy for the kids, funny for the adults, the voice cast all around is awesome, the animation is gorgeous, and speaking about that voice cast, Cody Smith-McPhee was great, Jeff Garlin, actually he wasn't that good, so why did I mention him? I don't know, he's fat. John Goodman's really good, Anna Kendrick's hot, and her character was sort of pretty. And Tucker Albrizzi as his friend, Cody Smith-McPhee's friend, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse McLovin was funny, and even gay Casey Affleck. Moving on to number 9. I'm on the pursuit of happiness, and I know. Now everyone has at least one film on their list, at least I do, every year, that people either really don't like or just think it's okay, and that is Project X for you. Project X is an adrenaline-pumping, fast-paced, hilarious, well-edited banger of a movie. This movie got me pumped the fuck up. It is so funny, this film, and it is so, well portrayed by these actors. These characters are very, realistic. You all know people like this. It's really funny, and the soundtrack is one of the best aspects of this entire film, and it's so original of how the events at this party play out, and it's a hell of a time, and yeah, make sure you wear something tight. Number 8. Beast of the Southern Wild was the only film that really made me cry this year, and yeah, it was a sad motherfucker, and I really, really loved the hell out of this movie. There's tons of other movies I love more, but at the same time, it's sort of weird that I have this at number 8, even though I do feel like this should be higher. But it was such an emotionally captivating movie, and just so well acted by these amateur actors, very well directed. I'm really happy Ben Zeitlin got a lot of, awards attention. Quvenzhané Wallis made this movie when she was 6, and what a great debut performance. But Dwight Henry, in my opinion, was one of the biggest Oscar snubs to me, because I thought that performance was just as, captivating as Quvenzhané Wallis, and just seeing them together, their chemistry is just so palpable. Such a great film, and if you're not crying by the end of the movie from tears of joy or sadness, then you do not have a heart. At number 7. You were a child, crawling on your knees toward it. Moonrise Kingdom. Yeah, I have to have my boy Wes Anderson in this, and Brandon hates this movie. You know what, Brandon? You're a bird. You're a fucking bird, Brandon. Wes Anderson is so good. He's one of my favorite directors, and even though this might not be one of my very favorite films of his, it's still a fantastic freaking movie. So well written. Really happy this got a Best Original Screenplay nomination at the Oscars. Really love every performance in this film, especially by the two main leads, Kara Hayward and Jared Gilman as Susie and Sam, and Bruce Willis was great. He earned himself an Independent Spirit Award nomination. The movie is so well shot, so well scored by Alexander Desplat, and it's the colors, it's just, I want to see this movie on acid, but not really. I don't want to try acid. That's not healthy. Going in to number 6. If you conjure up a fear, make it loud so... Now, The Master is probably one of the most well-made films I've ever seen, and by all means, this is probably like the most well-made film of this year, and probably in technicality, it's probably the best movie that was released from 2012. But personally, since this is my favorite films of the year list, it's not my number 1, but in technical standards, it would be number 1. But this movie, Paul Thomas Anderson just just proves even more why he's one of my favorite directors. I mean, add this to the masterpiece list. He has Boogie Nights and Punch Drunk Love and There Will Be Blood. I mean, just add the master right in there. Wow. This movie was just so captivating to watch. The cinematography is so gorgeous. I do not know why this movie wasn't nominated for an Oscar for cinematography, or any technical awards for that matter. The score by Johnny Greenwood is haunting as fuck, and the performances by everyone. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Amy Adams, even Laura Dern. What the fuck is she doing in this movie? And Joaquin Phoenix gives probably the best performance I've seen from the new decade so far. He is so fucking good, and I personally think if there's going to be any shocker at the Academy Awards, it could be Joaquin Phoenix. Going into number 5, motherfucker! I forgot what my number 5 was. Oh, it's 7 Psychopaths. 7 Psychopaths to me is one of the funniest, freshest, darkest comedies I've ever seen recently. And it is so well written by Martin McDonagh. It is such a great tribute to Quentin Tarantino films, or films like it, of that genre, and it is so sharply written and acted. The performances all around, especially from Sam Rockwell, turning in one of the most memorable performances of the year as Billy Bickle, is so fucking good in this. And Christopher Walken as Hans the Quaker is just also hilarious, but such a heartbreaking performance to watch, but it's so good. And Colin Farrell's good, Woody Harrelson's great, Tom Waits is funny as hell, and it's just one hell of a film. And it probably has the funniest scene I've seen all year, you know, involving a shootout, and Sam Rockwell's describing it, and it's hilarious. See 7 Psychopaths if you haven't already. Definitely one of the most underrated films of 2012. At number 4. I remember when I lost my mind. Number 4 is The Cabin in the Woods. Now, this was the first film of this year that absolutely blew my mind. And to me, I think this film has the best screenplay of the year. It is so innovative, and it does a lot for the horror genre, even though, personally, it's not fully a horror movie. It's more of a satire, and it's just so brilliantly written and directed, and the acting is also great. Fran Kranz delivers one of the most memorable comedic performances of the past 30 years. I think this is a character you should put up there with, like, Jeff Spicoli, you know, being one of the greatest, not only movie stoners, but movie characters. I just love this character, and just every single scene is just so great, and just the last 30 minutes of this film is just, if your mind wasn't blown, you're an idiot, and you suck, and unicorns. At number 3... Django, have you always been alone? Django! Of course I have to have Quentin Tarantino in my top 5. It's Django Unchained. Django Unchained is so fucking good. I've seen this movie like 3 times, and it's just, every time I watch it, I love it more. Whoa. This movie just caught me so off guard. It's one of his best films to date. I'd put it like, it would probably go Pulp Fiction, then Jackie Brown, then this. And I love this film. It just, so well written. I hope Quentin Tarantino wins his 2nd Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for this film, because it's so well deserved. And just the dialogue is just some of his sharpest to date. And I read the script like months and months and months ago, and I just absolutely adored it. And just watching the movie was just so much better. I love Quentin Tarantino's direction and his style, and just his soundtrack is always just really just not disappointing as usual, and it's so fucking awesome. The performances, some of the best performances you'll ever see in a Tarantino movie. Jamie Foxx was fantastic. Christoph Waltz was great. Even though I wouldn't have given him a nomination, I thought he was good. Kerry Washington is I don't like Kerry Washington. But besides Kerry Washington, you have Samuel Jackson giving one of his most memorable performances to date as Steven, the house nigga. His best role since Jules. And he should have been nominated for an Oscar. But probably my favorite performance of the year besides Joaquin Phoenix, probably my favorite supporting performance of the new decade, is Leonardo DiCaprio as Calvin Candy. And this is the biggest Oscar snub in recent memory. The way he portrays Calvin Candy is just so menacing and just so awesome. Awesome! That skull scene was the shit, and that scene alone deserved an Oscar. And how he didn't get a nomination pisses me the fuck off. Let's go on to my number 2. I am pissed off. Yes, Stephen Chbosky's The Perks of Being a Wallflower. How an author turns his book into an even better movie and directs it and writes it. And did he produce it? I don't know. But it's just such a superb job by him. He's so good at directing and writing, and he just made a lot of changes between the book and the movie. It's so cool to see an author do that to his own fucking work. And the performances were fantastic. Logan Lerman, Ezra Miller, Emma Watson, and just so fucking good. And the soundtrack is fantastic. The script was so snubbed at the Oscars, and it's just how these characters were written was just so well realized, and it just made me feel so warm inside. I just loved every second of this film. I almost cried at the end. I just held back the tears. It was just so well done. It really is the Breakfast Club of our generation, and hell, I like it more than the Breakfast Club. Perks of Being a Wallflower, well done. And my favorite film of 2012 was... yes, David O. Russell's Silver Linings Playbook. Now, I had to rewatch this movie again and again just to absolutely adore it. And I adored it the first time I saw it in theaters, but then I just realized how uplifting of a film this really is. It has the best message in a film of the entire year, and the performances all around, probably one of the best ensemble casts of the year, excluding Django Unchained. I mean, everyone in this fucking movie was just at the top of their game. Bradley Cooper gives his best performance I've seen. Jennifer Lawrence gives her best performance I've ever seen. Robert De Niro gives probably personally my favorite performance of his. Alright, I've seen Taxi Driver, I've seen The Godfather Part 2, I've seen everything, except for Raging Bull. Leave me alone. And, you know, this is probably the best we've ever seen Julia Stiles, and I just had to throw a Julia Stiles joke in there. But David O. Russell proves yet again that he can make these dysfunctional family movies work, and it is so fucking good. I absolutely love every second of David O. Russell's film. It's beautiful, and it's, like I said, the message of like finding a silver lining. There's always a silver lining. It just keeps you thinking and thinking, and it's just how it's written so superbly, and it's just a beautiful film, and that is why Silver Linings Playbook is my favorite film of 2012. I'm Mr. Google. Don't forget to ski cap, subscribe, and Excelsior!